Right, back live with you tonight on In Focus. Let's get back to that story then. The South African Union of Students has slammed the National Financial Aid Scheme's new banking system. One of their main concerns raised is the high fees that are being charged by the fintech companies. NSFAS spokesperson Slumezi Skosana back with us now on the line. Skosana, hopefully this line will hold this time around. So you're saying you did meet indeed with the stakeholders on Monday. What came out of that, particularly around this issue of bank charges?
Well, just a correction of the dates on which we met. We met on Sunday at the weekend, with SAUS and SASCO. And today, being Tuesday, we met with the same cohort together with our fintech solution partners. So we discussed a whole lot of things, basically things that had to do with the efficient implementation of the direct payment system, because the issues that you are talking about relating to fees and so on had already been settled, by the time we met. And we all believe, together with the student leaders, that the fees are not as exorbitant as it has been made out to be in the public, because the core management of the account is 12 Rand.
So the 10% or the 150 charge that they are talking about, you're saying it has never happened?
No, yes. No, it's not a true reflection of what goes on. I mean, it's just like when you deposit money in any banking institution, you will be charged a fee for depositing money in that bank account. But as you continue to transact, you will incur, other costs, such as when you swipe, when you withdraw, when you do all other transactions.
Yeah, but SAUS
so
was
we found common ground today.
Skosana, SAUS was saying to us those incurred charges should not be at the account of the students. That extra charge should be coming from the scheme itself, because they are of the view that the 1,650 allowance that has been given to the students should come out exactly as that and not less.
Yeah, we have found common ground because we explained to each other how the system works. And I think one of the things that we would like to make abundantly clear is that we shouldn't mislead, the young people of this country by thinking that they will get, everything for free. I know I risk sounding a little callous on that score, but where in the world would you put your money in an institution of sort like a bank and not pay fees, for that money that you put in the bank? It's an unrealistic, I think, expectation, and to receive money using a particular platform and not be charged for it. Yeah. So I think it's only fair that this be communicated clearly, that unless if you were going to join a queue somewhere and collect the money, perhaps you may pay by standing there in the sun, but really, when it comes to using the solution that was procured, tailored for the specific needs of the students, there would be fees payable for that service.
And did you find each other then clarity on the licensing requirements of IZAGA and whether or not they are VET registered? One of the issues that was raised, for example, by students at TUT. Yeah,
no, you see, there's a misunderstanding, I guess, based on insufficient knowledge by some people that tend to analyze these things. I mean, we procured a solution. We're not looking for a bank, for example, as NSFAS when we procured the solution. We procured a fintech solution that would ensure that the student allowances are disbursed on time, in a consistent manner, and in a dependable fashion. And if you now start comparing, let's say, the fees that your four banks would charge in comparison, to what our direct payment partners are charging. You're not comparing, apples with apples. Because here, it's a solution. You're dealing with a specific cohort of people, a specific group of people that must be paid in a particular way. So, yes, we have found common ground in how we are going to proceed going ahead.
So is there a requirement for the fintech to have a banking license? And I think Alta has also raised this issue of clarity around their VAT registration and so on and so forth.
No, in terms of the banking license, remember these fintech solutions are what you may call payment aggregation companies. All they do is to have a sponsor bank that would take responsibility from the banking side of things that they comply. They work with the partners that have the banking licenses. They are not expected themselves to have banking licenses per se, because they still run on the banking infrastructure of their sponsored commercial partner.
Yeah. Does that not escalate costs? I mean, again, it's the same thing that you're trying to run away from, having third parties making the payments.
No, it doesn't. We in fact put all the cost structures of your big commercial banks alongside what these fintech solution providers are charging, and they are comparable. Even though the big banks themselves, they don't compare that well with each other. They still differ in terms of, what they charge based on their offerings. So you don't necessarily have a one-cap-fits-all type of an approach, but because of the main objective of trying to make sure that the allowance of students reach them as efficiently as possible, yeah, we have taken the route that we have taken. I'll give you an example, Thabo. When a university offers tuition, we pay the university directly. When an accommodation establishment offers the student accommodation, we pay the accommodation establishment directly. Why shouldn't we then pay the student the allowance directly? When we have learned the hard way that a couple of years ago, some money found its way into a student account erroneously, some 14 million rand. When it was time for accountability, we had to check what we had done. We released the money to the institution of higher learning. The institution brought in its own service providers, and we were far from the action. And from an accountability point of view, we had a problem. Because if you asked us what happened to the money, we would say the money was given to the university. When you ask the university would say the money was given to a contracted service provider. When you ask the service provider would say, we will investigate. We suspect something went wrong. So where was NSFAS at that point? And how do we then, as NSFAS, go back to our shareholder, the Department of Higher Education and Innovation, and tell them that we don't know what happened to the money? So it's a question of accountability, because we want to travel the journey with a student from start to finish. And in order for us to do that, we have to know that their payment at university for tuition is taken care of efficiently, so that in case there is a question asked why the money has not come into the student account on time, we can be directly responsible. And our fintech solution suppliers are answerable to us, not to institutions of higher learning.
Skosana, appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Completely out of time. The NSFAS.
Thank you so much, Thabo.
Slumezi Skosana, they're joining us on the line, saying they have ironed out and found each other with the student bodies and leadership on this particular matter. Well,